Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Kansas City.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Tonight from Minneapolis, Minnesota and Target Field, it's game one of an important series between the Royals and the Twins. And the Stars are out shining tonight. How about the All-Star game leader, Eric Hosmer, and Torrey Hunter is back in the Twin Cities. Yesterday's hero, Salvador Perez, with the game-winning home run to help keep Kansas City within one game of Minnesota in the American League Central. Detroit is 4 games back. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Rex Hudler. We have just 108 games left in the season. And perhaps yesterday's home run by Perez really lit a match to the offense.
I believe it did, for sure. Ned, talking to him today, he said, boy, what a big jolt that was. That made everybody give a sigh of relief as they left the K last night.
And how about the Minnesota Twins? They're a team that everybody picked to finish last in the American League Central, but here they are after a fantastic month of May in first place.
Surprise, surprise. This is a solid division here in the Central. If you look at some of those numbers, the big difference has been really their pitching has been better. 1 ERA under and also a run higher than April. However, in April, they were tough against the Royals. 3-3 record. The Royals know they got their hands full today against the Twins.
And you played for Yogi Berra, and he had that line, it's deja vu all over again.
That's right. Hopefully Salvi can make it 2 in a row.
How about June 7th for Salvi? Joel Goldberg will talk about how important Salvador Perez is on that date in baseball history. That's next.
And one last year, maybe they'll bring them some luck here in the Twin Cities. A gorgeous night
for baseball in Minneapolis. Joel Goldberg back at Target Field, and the Royals ended a very rough homestand in a big way yesterday, and maybe we should have expected the results and what happened, because in our AT&T U-verse Rewind, we take a look at Salvador Perez and what June 7th has meant to him. Yesterday, down in the game, Salvi brings them back. They were actually tied, but had given up the lead. Salvi gives them the lead back in the victory, and a curtain call. June 7th, 2014, tie game 3-3 against the Yankees. Salvi goes deep. Salvi to the rescue. All right, let's go back to 2013. And the Royals, Salvador Perez against Houston, gives them the lead. They blow that lead and come back and win it. Salvador Perez and June 7th, something about that day. Salvador Perez also leads all vote-getters in the All-Star balloting. Latest update as we see in our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, and we have some more to add to the mix. Salvi continues to lead. Moose, Escobar, Gordon, and Kane were already there as the starters leading for their positions. And add Eric Hosmer, who has surpassed Miguel Cabrera, and Kendrys Morales has more votes than DH Nelson Cruz. If the voting had ended today, 7 starters would represent the Royals in the All-Star game. Guess what, folks? Keep on voting. And the Royals, they are set for a big series against the first-place Minnesota Twins. 1 game separating them in the standings. Fizz and Hud have the call coming up next.
High-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers for great prices on all our new 2015 vehicles today. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Welcome back to Target Field. Kansas City is 12-12 on the road this year, 1-2 at Target Field back in April. And Ned Yost, the lineup that he sent out tonight, brought to you by State Farm. Escobar, Moustakas, Kane, and Lorenzo given yesterday off, Rex. And Lorenzo just batting .194 his last 17 games, so perhaps yesterday's day off will give him a spark.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to him today, and he had his 3 bats that he brought out for batting practice, and I said, which one's going to be the one? He goes, either one of these, Hud. We're going to get it done today. I finally found me some good wood I like.
And And the pitcher is Phil Hughes, the 6'5" right-hander who grew up in the New York Yankees organization, won 16 games last year after off to a rough start this season.
Well, he's just finding a little bit too much at the plate. He's still got a decent fastball, although he might be down maybe a mile per hour or two. He'll go 88 to 93 with his fastball. He averages about 91 on that pitch. He'll cut the fastball. He's got a big curveball he's been tinkering with, trying to get that over. But really, the opponent's batting average at 302. That's one of the highest batting average in the league allowed. So they should be able to jump on him.
And the Twins with the 4th most errors in the American League with 36.
Well, that's not going to help him. But it has been the pitching that has really turned the Minnesota Twins into a contender so far early. It's only June, but it's exciting for the fans as this whole series will hinge on who wants to be in first. Royals a game back.
Well, here is Alcides Escobar, who broke a 3-for-24 slide with a couple of hits yesterday, including a sacrifice fly, and he goes after the first pitch here and knocks it foul. Strike one.
We'll see a lot of first ball swinging on this guy. Phil Hughes, only 7 walks in 11 starts this year. It's really good. He loves to throw first pitch strikes, so we'll see these Royals being aggressive like they like.
Escobar goes after the second pitch, and it is caught by Torrey Hunter. You see what he's done against lefties, and he'll face a lefty now in Mike Moustakas, but he's allowed 6 home runs to left-handers, and Moose has done some damage in this ballpark.
That's right. That tells me that he's giving it up to both sides, so we might could see a couple of balls fly out of the park.
The 12 total home runs is the 5th most he's allowed in the American League this year. Moustakas with a .318 average. That one's popped up, foul territory, a long run for Trevor Plouffe, but beyond his reach.
Hughes not going to try to trick you. See what Moose has done this season versus the Twins in 6 games. It was red hot early. It's a good homer's park to right field. Left field's not too shabby either. 339 down the line and left. Center field, you're going to have to really jump on it to get it out there.
Well, they had Dozier playing it perfectly in shallow right field and 2 fly ball outs. That's the way Phil Hughes was with the New York Yankees, a fly ball pitcher, but he could not survive that bandbox that is Yankee Stadium now.
Yeah, going back to last season, he really has a lot more confidence in that fastball, that he's in a little bit bigger ballpark. He's not afraid to challenge guys. He's pretty aggressive with it.
And he was mainly a fastball cutter guy last year and mixed in some curveballs. But 16 wins last year and 209 2/3 innings, only walked 16. Tremendous command.
Yeah, we'll keep count on first pitch strikes on Hughes. That's what he loves to do. Get that strike one. Most pitchers will tell you that's their best pitch.
Lorenzo Cain takes a rip and sends it to right center. Aaron Hicks says he has it. 3 fly ball outs. The Royals are down in the first, and we head to the bottom of number 1. Twins coming up. Hall of Famer Paul Molitor doing quite well as a first-year manager, but they have all done well, as our Toyota League leaders show you. Molitor 33-23. Kevin Cash first year with Tampa Bay, then Jeff Bannister and Chip Hale also doing quite well in 2015. And here's a look at that Minnesota Twins lineup. Brian Dozier has power for a leadoff hitter, then the veteran Hunter and Mauer, followed by Trevor Plouffe, who's now in the cleanup spot, and Vargas back from AAA. And Kenny Vargas will face Jason Vargas. Brian Dozier with 11 home runs and 28 RBIs. Jason got off to a rough April, but he's turned things around, particularly since coming off the disabled list.
That's right. He's got his mechanics back. He knows exactly what to do. Fastballs in to righties, sets up the changeups away. There you go. It's all right if you do that once in a while. You got to keep those righties off of your pitches, and for Vargas, it's not overpowering, so righties can take him deep. He's given up 4 to righties this year, only 1 to a lefty. You see him coming inside on Dozier. You're going to see a lot of that.
And that's the first batter he has hit this year. And Jason visiting with home plate umpire Brian Onora. You see lefties have hit him pretty hard, and a right-hander will come up now, and Torrey Hunter.
He's going to use that big curveball very effectively, lefties and righties. Excellent changeup. That's his best pitch.
Torrey Hunter goes after the first pitch, so both offenses being aggressive on opposing pitchers, Phil Hughes and now Jason Vargas. Torrey has always done well against Kansas City in his career, 34 home runs, and this year batting .364. Out of play, so Vargas has him down 0-2.
Hey, the Twins offense, they've been pretty good against lefties this year. They're hitting .270 with 16 homers. That's a high mark in the league, and their record is 15-7 against southpaws. That is the best record in Major League Baseball against lefties.
And those numbers you saw, the best against any opponent. Of course, he grew up in the Minnesota organization, then to the Angels and Detroit. And Vargas, with that great off-speed stuff, strikes out Torrey.
Changeup, perfectly executed. Vargas loves it to put it right there down and away after coming up and in on Hunter, getting him to foul a couple pitches off. It's a deceptive pitch. He's a craftsman, veteran pitcher. He knows how to pitch. He's not a thrower.
And now another guy who's had a pretty good career against the Royals. Overall this season, just batting .269, and he's a career .320 hitter. The last 2 seasons have not gone well for Joe. He's now 32 years of age in his 12th big league season.
Mauer is a lane ball candidate. That's right. He's grounded into 10 double plays so far this year. That's a high number for June.
Dozier, good speed. He might be going. Does not. And that time Brian was actually moving back towards first base when Jason brought it home.
Dozier's 3 out of 4. He's not a base burner, but he's got good enough speed to rip one off.
He had 21 last year.
That's pretty good.
We told you the Twins have been red hot, winning 24 of their last 35 since April 30th. That is the best record in the American League. And he just does miss off the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Mauer has 33 career at-bats, 14 hits. That's a .424 average. Pretty good against Vargas.
Cracks that one to right field. Alex Rios, boy, that knuckled on him, and he was able to go to his knees to make the catch on the sinking line drive by Joe Mauer.
Yeah, it's not easy viewing out there with that sun about this time of game early. You can see it. There's some sunlight mixed in there, and that ball, it mixes in the sun and the shadow. It's not easy. Had the sinking liner did a good job of using two hands on that baby.
Now number 4 batter Trevor Plouffe. Twins, we told you, in first place by a game over the Royals. Minnesota at 33-23, and the Royals at 31-23 after winning yesterday 4-3 on Salvador Perez's 8th inning home run. Plouffe with power, and 7 of his 8 home runs have come at target. Dozier goes. Vargas has it picked off. Hosmer with the throw-in. Infante with the tag. Inning over.
Love how Hosmer clears himself. Watch him come in the infield grass here. Give him a good, easy lane to throw in. He's out.
Making his second appearance is Joe Vargas, who just watched his son pitch a very good first inning. And as we watch Eric Hosmer stepping in, we'll get a chance to visit with Joe. I saw you pump the fist after that caught stealing there. First off, how much fun is it to be able to watch your son pitch in person, and how are the nerves?
You know, the nerves have calmed down quite a bit since, you know, we first started. That's probably just because you see it over and over again, but you still get nervous. There's still butterflies in your stomach. And being able to watch your kid center stage in front of, you know, thousands of fans, the dream come true, you know, next to actually playing in it. So for me, I've just been blessed.
First off, we'll give you credit there for the first hit of the game. Jason, by the way, well, that'll be a good segue, was quite the hitter in college, that really comping or similar to Troy Tulowitzki, his teammate, right?
Yes. Yeah, actually, he led Long Beach in hitting at that during his junior year in Long Beach, and actually, I thought he was going to be drafted as a hitter. What I thought he should have been is a hitter. He was probably one of the best hitters I've ever seen in, you know, the 20-plus years that I was coaching, and kind of like deep down, I kind of was hoping he would be a hitter, but hey, it is what it is, and he's there now, and I can't complain.
No, he's had a really good career, and I always see him as being so calm out there. You talked about nerves and getting easier. Now, it's much different when you're sitting and watching versus playing, but has he always been that calm kid?
He always has. you know, all the days that I saw him play through Little League on through even now pros, I've never seen him lose his cool or get emotional in a negative way. You're always going to have your emotions when you're happy and you know something happens, like going to the World Series, the playoffs. But he's always been one to be able to temper his emotions, and that's one thing that we talked about quite a bit when he was growing up. Is you let your emotions control you in a game like baseball, it's just not going to be good, you know, for either himself or the team.
Well, we saw him take part with such a great team last year and back off the DL, doing well right now. And then you get a chance to share this with him, and it's so cool seeing some of the dads that are here for their first time. For you, it's the second. How unique of an experience is this from a dad's perspective?
Are you talking about the trip?
The trip, yeah.
Oh, the trip is you know, unbelievable. You get to go and do some things that there aren't too many clubs that do this that I'm aware of. I think the only other club that I know of is in hockey that does it, and it's just, I mean, for all the dads to be able to come here and share the kind of like the inner circle of the team, you know, be in the clubhouse, traveling on the bus with them, traveling on the team, you know, the inner workings of the personnel, you know, during a plane ride, it's just all fantastic.
It's the royal treatment, pun intended, with that, the flights, the food, the batting practice. You guys will take batting practice tomorrow, and Kendrys Morales just took batting practice, and that is a home run. Joe Vargas getting a little support for your son.
That was crushed. Hey, well timed. I mean, you know, Kendrys, you know, has been a godsend to this team. You know, RBI machine, hitting, you know, close to 300. He comes in key situations and drops a load like that. What more could you ask for? And hey, you know what? He's supporting my son tonight, so that's great.
Love it. Keep it going, Joe. We appreciate the visit. Enjoy the week and a half. Hud, we might have another analyst here.
Oh, he was outstanding. I like it. Morales dropped a load. Believe it. Right there in the upper tank. That's right. Beautiful thing. 2-0.
And Kendrys, who only had 2 RBIs the last 2 weeks, has 2 immediately, and the Royals have a 2-0 lead. Now, Joe Vargas was a terrific baseball coach at Victor Valley High School in Southern California, and in the gymnasium you can go there and they have Jason's jersey retired, his number 14.
Wow, how about that? You know, I only saw Vargas hit a few times since we've been here, since he's been with the team. Didn't realize he had that type of skill, though. His dad wanted to see him swing the shillelagh.
Alex Gordon pulls one to first base, and Joe Mauer is there, and that is 3 unassisted. And there is Joe Vargas, whose son now has a 2-0 lead. Terrific baseball coach, but I thought it was very interesting when he talked about his son at Long Beach State, where he thought he would be drafted as an outfielder because he was such a good hitter.
Yeah, I like the fact that Vargas is so calm, and he doesn't get excited. He doesn't get rattled one way or another. Perfect baseball mentality. You got to have that in this game. If you don't, it's a struggle.
So you had a similar mentality when you played, right?
Extreme opposite, Biz. I was up and down all the time, and it took me a long time to figure it out. It didn't take Vargas that long.
Jason Vargas will sit and watch Alex Rios, who has had great numbers in his career against the Minnesota starter. Rios takes it barely inside. Phil Hughes with exceptional command, doesn't walk many, but does give up a few fly balls, and just gave up his 13th home run of the year. Rios smashes one, but Dozier with a nice backhand to throw him out.
It's coming for Rios. It's coming. He's making a lot better contact. He's swinging at better pitches, and he almost beat that out. Good hustle down the line. Nice play by Dozier.
Minnesota will move their defense. They'll have 3 infielders on the left side, 1 on the right for Salvador Perez, who was yesterday's hero in the 4-3 win. That was great information that Joel gave our fans in his pregame show. Salvi going deep on June 7th, the last 3 years.
Wow. All almost in the same spot.
Exactly.
Some were hit harder than others, but they were all in that bullpen area.
I was watching Sal take batting practice, and he was letting some go, Hud, which is unusual. He's such an aggressive hitter. Only 3 walks in 192 plate appearances. He'd like to be a little more disciplined and hit his pitch rather than the pitcher's pitch.
You would hope that that would come sooner than later, but for some guys that are naturally aggressive, that they swing, they're hackers, you know, it takes time.
That comes from personal experience.
It sure does, believe me. I had the philosophy, if I wanted to walk, I'd have been a mailman. Up there to swing. But it hurts you. You know, you want to get on base, and next thing you know, the pitcher goes, wow, I got to give him a better pitch. He's not going to swing at it. And then there you go. You get the cookie.
Well, you almost expect one from Phil Hughes because only 7 walks this year in 70 innings. And last year, 16 and over 200.
Well, he's got a grand total of 3 so far this year.
Checks his swing. And how about that?
He walked.
That is the 4th walk for Salvador Perez. They appeal. He did not go, and it officially becomes a walk.
There you go, Salvi. I knew you had it in you. He wanted to swing. He wanted to commit to it. And it wasn't a bad pitch either. It looked like it was right down there. He saw it at the plate. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't take a rip at it. Ooh, man. And it was kind of a gracious call. He looked like he attempted.
So only the 8th walk by Phil Hughes this entire season. Here is Omar Infante trying to break out of a 4-for-43 slide, and he hits it sharply, and it knocks off of Dozier, but he still has time to get into Escobar at second base. But Kendrys Morales with a long fly ball to right, and it is gone. 41 RBIs now on the year, in the top 5 in the American League.
He's on pace for 123 stakes.
Jason Vargas with a 2-0 lead because of Kendrys Morales' 7th home run of the year. And now he will face Trevor Plouffe to open the 3rd inning. Plouffe was up when Dozier was picked off and attempted to steal second base, thrown out by Eric Hosmer.
I call that a bonus at bat. This one right here. See a few pitches, you know, the guy gets thrown out. Hey, you're ahead of the game. None of them counted.
Well, Vargas will win this battle Lorenzo Cain comes jogging on and makes the catch for out number 1. Our Ford defense has Lorenzo Cain, who's one of the leaders in the All-Star game voting.
Why not? Look at Haas. He moved into first today as he's the best first baseman in the American League. No question. Miguel Cabrera might have him with the bat, but he definitely does not have him with the glove. Haas has got extreme skills.
Yeah, I was talking with Eric before the ball game about his memories of the Major League Baseball draft when he was drafted first round by Kansas City, and he had some great stories, the drama about it, the emotion, and he said just a lot of it had to surround his mom and dad and what they did for him growing up. And he said his dad Mike was a firefighter, and he said he would go off and have these shifts where he'd come back exhausted, and me and my brother would go, hey, let's go out and hit. And my dad would immediately put his stuff down, go outside and pitch to us. And he said, I am so thankful for having parents like I do. His dad will be with the ball club on the father's trip when we get to St. Louis. Here is Kenny Vargas, and he swings and misses. Well, the draft is going on right now, and Arizona took Dansby Swanson, a shortstop from Vanderbilt, in the first round, first pick overall. 3 shortstops went 1, 2, 3 to Arizona, Houston, and Colorado. The Yankees are up right now. They pick 16, so they're 5 away from the Royals spot at 21. The Royals have a 21st pick and then a 33rd supplemental pick for San Diego signing James Shields.
Sure is an exciting time for a lot of families and young people that are out there anticipating their name being called, phone ringing.
And Vargas strikes out Vargas. Well, Jason was a draft pick earlier, but how about Mike Moustakas, 2nd overall in 2007? That's a young look.
That's the cool moose.
And there's Eric Hosmer.
Oh man, what an exciting
family.
Look at that. They just got showered with some yellow roses.
Christian Colon, 4th overall. He's with the big league clubs. Luke Hochever.
Wow.
Out of Tennessee.
Check him out. He's all decked up.
Well, 2 out for Kurt Suzuki. And there's Mike, and what a great breakout season he has had, because he was a marvelous star in Southern California, set the California high school home run record.
I'll tell you how long it takes to develop into a bona fide big leaguer. I mean, it's not easy. Some guys, you know, Harper, Trout, you know, they've come in. There's 2 guys that I mentioned that have come in and really, watch this.
Escobar, long throw, man.
El Mago. That's right. He's the magician. He's the magic man. El Mago. That's his new nickname. He loves it. He's that ball. He can get rid of it with some petrol on for the best of it.
Royals lead it 2-0, and just a reminder, as you're having a cold one, we'll have our Miller time moment a little bit later in the ball game. Well, here he is, the guy who made that fantastic play to end the bottom half of the second inning.
El Mago. Magician.
And you talked with him about that before the ball game. He likes that nickname.
Yeah, Joel did that interview with Tom Hamilton, or with him. He played Tom Hamilton's call. Remember, and he called him the Magic Man.
The Magician.
Yeah, the Magician. And he, Joel Eske talked about it, but this guy, he just pulls the rabbit out of his hat all the time. Now he's able to plant and throw, but that one play that he made where he got that nickname El Mago was a barehander in the hole. The first time in his career he's ever attempted it, and he was flawless. Look at Vargas, loving that play for him.
So Eske continues to shine. He leads the All-Star voters at shortstop, and very deserving. I saw an article today about comparing him to Marcus Semien, and I said, wait a second. Semien's made 19 errors, and Escobar has only made 5. And I think he and J.J. Hardy are the best shortstop in the game. And here goes Moose to right field, a base hit.
Center fielder, 6, Lorenzo Manning.
Well, the 2015 Esurance Major League Baseball All-Star voting is underway, and Royals fans are coming out in force. 7 are leading. There are many Royals currently. Guys like Moose, Salvi, Kane, Eske, Hosmer, Gordon, and Morales, and they need your votes. Let's stack the All-Star game with Royals. Go to Royals.com/vote right now to cast your selections. And don't forget to watch the Major League Baseball All-Star game on Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. A lot of people are saying, Kansas City doesn't have that many. Here's a ground ball short. 6-4 and 3 for the play. And Phil Hughes out of it. We'll come back, talk more about the All-Star game. Lorenzo Cain, one of the leaders in the outfield. We'll be right back. Leading for Cincinnati's All-Star game this year, and Eske with almost 4 million votes. The high overall is Salvador Perez with almost 4.5 million votes, and a lot of fans might be saying, well, we don't even have that many in our metro area. But if you go online and vote, you can vote as many as 35 times. And I was teasing Ryan Lefevre, who's on the radio side tonight, about that, and I said, Rhino, you've got 4 children. That means each of them voted. That means 140 votes for the Royals. And he said, yeah, Callie's now 10 weeks old, and we got her taught very well how to use an iPad.
Got her an email account. That's all you need.
All right, here you go. 4 kids ready to go. He's a Golden Gopher. Terrific all Big Ten outfielder for Minnesota.
had more career triples than Paul Molitor, a Hall of Famer.
The ball clipped off the glove of Vargas. It rolls out to second base, and safe at first base will be Eddie Rosario.
And during his college career, you know that Ryan had more triples than Molly. Vargas,
speed.
You know what? Yeah, Vargas right there. He's probably kicking himself, although he's a fine athlete. If he lets that go, Infante's got it, but that's just baseball.
That's the first hit by Minnesota. The batter is Eduardo Escobar, batting .230. But he is a guy who has always fared well offensively in this ballpark. He's hitting .336 his last 34 games at Target Field.
Jason Vargas, Phil Hughes, they have a very quick tempo. They get that ball and they throw it. Not a lot of time in between pitches.
Ball, one strike. Eduardo, 26 years of age, came up in the Chicago White Sox organization, acquired by the Twins, and they dealt Francisco Liriano to Chicago, and he has become a real fine pitcher with Pittsburgh.
You know, Danny Santana was their shortstop until yesterday, and they sent him out to go back to get some more seasoning and get more confident offensively. He was scuffling, was struggling along, so now this young man's going to step in here, Eduardo Escobar, play shortstop for him. He had been playing left field.
Ground ball short. Escobar gets one. Do they have a chance? No. Below the plate.
It wasn't quite hit hard enough.
Omar Infante is second in the bowling. Jose Altuve, the very deserving second baseman for the Houston Astros.
Pedroia's not having that bad a season either.
Oh. Aaron Hicks called up on May 12th. He's a former first-round pick out of Long Beach, California.
14th overall in 08.
And they love him defensively. I remember a couple of springs ago he had a fantastic spring for the Twins. Broke camp with the big club and just immediately struggled from the get-go. Like 2 hits in his first 40 at-bats and sent down to AAA. Escobar only 1 steal in 2 attempts. Into left field. Escobar will make it to third, and into second base is Aaron Hicks with a double. And how about this? That's only the second hit all year by Hicks with men on base. He's had 47 men on base, only his second hit.
Wow. He just snuck it right by Moose and hit the bag even. He's going good. The ball hits the front part of that base and stops, and there's no advancement of the runner, but it hit the top of the bag. Scrambled out there, Alex Gordon. When it hit the base, it took just enough off the ball to where Alex couldn't throw him out at third.
So the tying run in scoring position. Royals lead on Morales' second inning home run. Ball 1. Dozier is a guy you can strike out, even though Jason is not a strikeout pitcher. Ryan has struck out 51 times this year, and that is in 55 games. One ball, one strike. Jason came inside on Dozier. First time up with a four-seam fastball and clipped his left shoulder. Glenn, third base coach.
Gene Glenn's staying awful close over there at the third base runner, but he's also telling him, hey, watch out for Salvi's throw. I'll keep an eye on Moose if he keeps him in there.
Dozier again knocks it foul, so the count is 1-2. In Vargas' last 4 games, opponents just 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Minnesota's been so hot, and offensively they've been averaging close to 5 runs per game the last month of the season.
And they've matched the Royals with average with runners in scoring position at 294.
Dozier rolls one to third, and they'll have no chance to get Bryant. The bases are loaded for Torrey Hunter.
Swinging bunt. Couldn't have rolled it any nicer. Well, now it just sets up an opportunity to roll a double play. That's what Vargas would love. But, you know, when minute Dozier hit that, he knew that was going to be a base hit. That's about all you can do. Just pick it up and put it in your pocket.
So 2 infield hits by Minnesota in this inning, and then the ball that clipped off the third base bag for a double. There it is, a 6, a 4, and a 3-inning ending double play.
Dr. Vargas making a house call. Perfect time there. Oh, yeah. First pitch, Hunter was looking to jump him, and he jumped himself right back in the dugout after this 6-4-3. What a beauty. Yeah.
Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Of course, Eric Hosmer was the Player of the Month of May. Close to 300, a lot of RBIs. And he now has a total of 34. He singled to start the Royals rally in the second, and that was followed by a Kendrys Morales blast to the right field seats.
Sometimes that happens with Hosmer right here. Fastball right down the middle. He takes it. Strike one. Next pitch, tough curveball down. He swings at it. Now he's 0-2. See what Phil Hughes has to see as Honora got some dirt in his eye on that foul ball.
Brian Honora, our home plate umpire. Alan Porter is at first base. Arthur Berger at second base. And Jeff Kellogg, who's the crew chief, is over at third base. And it was interesting talking with Eric about growing up in high school, becoming one of the elite players in America. And Rex, I had to ask him because our super scout Art Stewart told me the story, and I wanted to make sure it was absolutely accurate, because in the championship game for American Heritage, their first state championship, Eric had a key triple in the game to give him the lead. In the 7th inning, they brought him to close the game. He threw 9 pitches to 3 hitters, struck them all out. State championship. So that was a special moment. He goes, yeah, it was.
It's hard to make that story any better when he starts telling his kids that.
And there is Art Stewart, who's with Johnny Damon at the Major League Baseball draft. The Royals like 2 selections away, so please stay with us and we'll tell you who the Royals select at 21. Hosmer takes it low. Boy, that has to be a great memory. We were talking before the ball game with Eric about draft day, and for you, Rex, 1978, you were selected first round 18th overall by the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't that big a deal back then, Fizz. I mean, they didn't, you got, everything was by telegram. Except the phone did ring, there was no cell phones. Typical day at school, come home, walk in the door, Mom.
So you just waited for the Wells Fargo wagon to come over and deliver the mail to you?
That came later. It took almost a full year to get my bonus money, but it got there. But you know, you just walked in day after school. Mom, did anybody draft me? She says, yeah, the Yankees did. I said, well, what round did I go? She goes, you went in the first round, 18th pick. Congratulations, son. I hugged her. I said, what'd you tell them? She said, I told them they wasted their pick. My son's going to school.
All right, come on.
Way to go, Mom. Thanks for telling him.
And you had to wait a week before you got the phone call, correct?
Yep, never heard from him. In a week, I go, way to go, Mom. You scared him away. She said, no, son, they'll call. Sure enough, they called and showed up at the same time.
Morales banged the home run his last time up. High arcing shot into the right field seats. Back up the middle, backhanded, and thrown out by Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, who moved over to the second base side of second base. But our Jeep drive of the game is Kendris in the second.
Oh, man, was it a beauty. 7th home run on the year with a stake on. It makes 41 total RBIs. That was a drive. I mean, swung on, gone. Huge deposit up there in the upper tank in right center field. Stirred his teammates up and got Vargas a little 2-0 lead. And Vargas wiggled out of a bases loaded jam by rolling Torrey Hunter into a twin killer, a double play ball.
And it did. Bases loaded, 1 out. Chance for the Twins to get right back in it. But Escobar, Infante, and Hosmer said no, and now Gordon is down in the count, 0-2. As soon as he got 2 strikes, they moved Plouffe again over to the right side. Rex, how difficult is it for a natural pull hitter like Alex Gordon to go ahead and shoot the ball over to the left side?
Yeah,
give him so much room.
Well, with 2 strikes, you're going to be a little bit more defensive, but you look for a pitch middle away. Just look for a pitch out that way, and you just slow your bat down and just try to place it out there. I mean, it's easier said than done. That was a good try there. See, he took a stroke from it, took a shot at it. Sometimes, you know, a hitter walks up to the plate, he's looking at the defense, seeing where they're playing him early, and then sometimes it's easier to do it earlier in the count than when you get 2 strikes. There he was just fighting it off. Doesn't want to get called out.
Alex batting just 180 the last 3.5 weeks of the season, and that one is low. Gordon, of course, a first-round pick out of Nebraska. His dad, Mike, is with him. Matter of fact, the 3 Royals starting tonight with their dads here are dads all named Mike. And Gordon chases that one. A good off-speed pitch thrown by Phil Hughes. He has a 1-2-3-4. Royals lead at 2-0. Back to Jason when we come back. U-verse high-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. And by Chrysler. Come discover great deals during the Chrysler Drive and Discover event. Beautiful Mississippi River. Very close to Target Field. Got a beautiful walk down there. Shows you some of the small waterfalls that made it difficult for the loggers back in the day. And the name Minneapolis means City of Lakes. Just a few miles from where the Dakota Sioux met French explorers in the 1680s and established a trading post.
Oh, that's right. Ooh, that ball's hit good.
And Kane going back. He makes him look easy. He had those easy long strides of Lorenzo Kane.
Perfect jump. Look at this. He always takes the perfect route. You never see any kind of a waver, him going around and then going back and getting back to the ball. He always takes a straight line to the ball. That's why he makes most of those plays that are hit over his head if they stay in the yard.
Lorenzo has an interesting story about draft day. He was selected 18th round by the Milwaukee Brewers, and he goes, I didn't know anything about the draft. You know, he got involved in baseball in high school and then went to a junior college, and he goes, I wasn't very good. But the Milwaukee Brewers scout who drafted and signed him said he was a great athlete with excellent work ethic. So Lorenzo really grew up in the Milwaukee system. And Ned Yost spotted immediately and said, boy, this guy and that Escobar guy, terrific athletes. And obviously, Dayton Moore was able to acquire them in the Zach Greinke deal. Here's Moustakas, and he gets his man Trevor Plouffe. Nice play by Moose.
How about that? Moose and Plouffe played against each other in high school out in California, and then they're playing against each other in the big leagues. Yeah, you know, Fizz, there's so much out there that to learn about baseball. And if you love baseball, you know, Art Stewart wrote a book this past offseason, The Art of Scouting, and I learned so much about the scouting and the history of the Royals, you know, the Kaufman ownership days. And you know, Dayton Moore's book, now More Than a Season, is out, and that's some more history and information on scouting, player development, things that I never had a chance to do. So it's been very interesting for me to read some of these books. Catch up on some stuff.
Vargas pops it up foul territory. Hosmer will have a look, and it is out of play. And Rex, I think it was the first meeting I ever had with Dayton Moore, and I asked him about his growing up in a scouting background, and he said, well, if you've noticed, everybody I hired with the Royals has some scouting background, even if they're a vice president in a different area. But he goes, I want everybody's opinion.
Yeah, and you know, that is a special gift to have a guy that wants to listen to other people.
Trust.
Yeah, you know, some guys are going to do it themselves. They might have one or two confidants, but you know, he wants everybody's opinion.
You right now have a fan or a chance to purchase an autographed copy of Dayton Moore's new book, More Than a Season, that Rex was talking about. Explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership. There's a line drive base hit to center field. In the process of rebuilding a championship culture in Kansas City, 100% of the proceeds from book purchases support Dayton's charity See You in the Major Leagues. So for just $25, purchase your autographed copy today at Royals.com/morethanAseason or at the Majestic Team store. And I remember one of the Royals scouts telling me that he was watching Jason Vargas pitch, and he was on the phone with Dayton Moore, who was also watching the game that Jason was pitching, and actually Jason was getting his brains beat in that night. But Dayton said, I just like the way he competed. I like the poise he showed. And he was just so competitive on the mound, just trying to find his stuff, get back in the game, which he did.
And that's one of the many good traits that Vargas has about him. And, you know, when you're a veteran guy and you've endured many seasons in the majors like he has, Chris Young, another example, those guys are big-time competitors. There's not many guys out there that have their heart but hide it so well. You know, they don't have any energy on the outside. They contain it. Chris Young, same way. There's Mr. Vargas to the left.
It's part of the dad's trip. Breaking ball misses inside. Suzuki robbed of a hit on an outstanding play by the guy that Rex Hudler now calls El Mago.
Yeah.
He's Escobar.
Yeah, I think he could stick because he's a magic man. He's a magician.
Vargas with a nice comeback, drops it, but has time to throw out Suzuki, so he has gone 4, allowed nothing. Jason's upset with himself for not fielding it cleanly. I wonder what Coach Joe would say. Game changer. Rios against Bill Hughes, and he has had a lot of success now, 13 for 28, and robbed of a hit in a fine play by Brian Dozier in the second.
Pretty nice numbers there. He's hoping to add on, get something going here. They need more than 2.
He squared up Hughes last time up, but Dozier backhanded it nicely and threw him out by half a step. To third, Plouffe has it. 1 out. Well, we understand the Royals are right now up. The draft position number 21 is ready to be announced. We'll see who the Royals select and immediately give that information to you. 3 shortstops went 1, 2, 3 by Arizona, Houston, and Colorado. Dansby Swanson, a shortstop from Vanderbilt. Alex Bregman, a shortstop from LSU. And Brendan Rodgers, a high school shortstop out of the state of Florida, went 3rd to the Colorado Rockies. There is strike 1 to Salvador Perez, who walked his first time up. There's a shot foul. Honda most trusted players. Look at the number of first-round picks playing with the Royals. 3 from outside the organization. Rios, who is a first-round pick out of Puerto Rico. Jeremy Guthrie by Cleveland. Joe Blanton by Oakland. But Gordon, Hochevar, Moustakas, Hosmer, and Cologne by Kansas City.
Like it.
And of course, there was the great story last year of their first-round pick, Brandon Finnegan, becoming the first player ever to pitch in the College World Series and then the Major League World Series in the same year. Brandon now at AAA Omaha. Their building of his arm strength is making him a starting pitcher again after he had been in the bullpen with the Royals. And we have made our pick.
It's really great to see all these #1 picks that have made it. But there, you know, there's a lot of guys that unfortunately don't make it that are #1 picks. So, you know, it's not an exact science.
Just barely low. Look at Perez working the count.
Hughes didn't like that, though. He had a couple of words. Of course, as his back was to the umpire, Brian O'Nora. That's a good spot. Didn't get it.
Salvi pops it foul, and it will drift out of the play. And the Royals have selected Ash Russell, right-handed pitcher out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Cathedral High School. So a high school pitcher is selected first, and Joel Goldberg will tell us more about Ash Russell. Joe will tell us about it in the bottom of the 5th inning. Salvi with a line drive base hit to right field, and that will get to the wall.
And he just looked, you could tell he was going to hit something hard. He's all over Phil Hughes. And then finally says, all right, I'm not going to try to take you out of the ballpark. I'm going to hit you solid right in the gap, right center field. Beautiful stroke. Good pitch, but Salvi, he knew it was coming. Look at his nose. His nose is right to the ball.
And now in scoring position, the batter Omar Infante is due. He has been chasing a lot of breaking balls away from him, but Phil Hughes, that is his 3rd best pitch. Omar with 17 RBIs, looking for his first home run of the year. Strike 1.
Salvi been struggling for a little bit offensively. Everybody knows baseball's a cycle game. You hit for a while, you shut down for a while. You win for a while, you lose for a while. And you know, the guys that stay a little bit more consistent are the ones that get paid a little more.
Boy, that's 2 that Infante has hit on the nose, and second time it's been an out.
Let's go back to Salvador Perez. This is what's going to get you out. We showed some of the hitters in the last homestand going to the opposite field. This is going to get you out. Watch this. Freeze it right there. See how he's looking right at that. I mean, you know, his hips have already turned. That goes. But this is on the outer half of the plate, and he just shoots it all because his head was in the right spot. And he drove it. He saw it all the way off his bat and into right center. Perfect stroke.
Here is Alcides Escobar, 0 for 2. He takes strike 1 as Hughes drops a breaking ball on the outside corner. Royals with a 2-0 lead on a Kendrys Morales 2-run home run in the 2nd. One ball, 1 strike. Phil coming off his shortest start since July 24th last year, only 4 1/3 against the Boston Red Sox. And that came in a loss. Knocked foul. But Rex, you look down his line throughout this year, he goes 6 innings about every single start. He's gone 8 once, That was in a complete game loss back in April at Seattle, but pitched well, only gave up 2 runs in 8 innings. That was his best start of the year, and he's coming off his worst start, shortest outing, we said, at Boston.
Big guy. He's not 30 yet. 6'5", 240. He's reliable. And he does it with fastball cutters.
He has struggled at home this year after being sensational last year at 9-5 with a 2.78, but that ERA has almost doubled this season.
He's getting more runs. So we've got 3 wins to show. A little bit too much at the plate. You know, 91, 92, ball can get hit if it's not located properly. You see a lot of the Royals are out in front pulling balls down the third base line tonight. The right-handers. This little cutter on the end, inside. See, he's not leaving balls out over the middle as consistently as he has been. So he is making some good adjustments. Escobar, a little pine tar, a little bit of rosin right there, just to kind of make sure that grip is good enough so he can hold on to that bat.
Perez trying to get the Royals their 3rd run of the night. 2 out. Just low.
Escobar this year with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. He's 0 for 14. He needs to break that goose egg right here.
And Hughes was trying to get it with Chase, and he doesn't have to give in. First base is open, but he would have to face a left-hander and Mike Moustakas next. Escobar pops it up. Dozier drifting out, and he'll make the catch. When we come back, Joe Goldberg will tell you all about who the Royals drafted in the 1st round of the 2015 Major League Baseball Draft.
The best hair in baseball, but how about the hair on this kid? Our Mazda Game Break takes a look. Just happened a few moments ago at the Royals. 1st round pick, 21st pick in the draft, Ash Russell, a right-handed pitcher out of Indianapolis Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. 6'4", 195 pounds, 2014 and 15. Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Indiana. Has a fastball around 92 to 95. He says he throws a slurve. Some have listed it as a slider. And a changeup. Was 5-1 with a 1.02 ERA, 67 strikeouts and 9 walks as Hosmer snags that one. First time that the Royals have taken a high school pitcher, guys, with their first pick in the draft since Zach Greinke in 2002. They did take Foster Griffin in the first round last year, but the first pick that they made last season was Brandon Finnegan. So 6'4", and a guy that at 18 years old hopefully has a very bright future. He's got good hair there too, Hud.
I love the hair, but I like the funky delivery. There's some deception there. Well, looking at the kid, maybe we'll get a chance to show it again. Watch him. Steps back, little knee cock, glove flies, arm flies. Look at him. Yeah. I hope he's a 20-game winner someday for the Royals.
Yeah, we hope he can pitch like Zach Greinke.
That would be great too, and we'll check in a little bit later because the Royals have one more first-round pick as compensation for losing James Shields. By the way, 6 shortstops have already gone in this draft.
Well, it was a shortstop-heavy draft. It was lacking depth at the catching position. But the Royals really deep at the shortstop position with not only Escobar, but down at AA Northwest Arkansas, of course, Raul Mondesi, who is regarded as one of the top shortstop in all of minor league baseball. Carlos Correa, the #1 shortstop, was called up today by the Houston Astros. He was a first overall player taken a few years back. Eduardo Escobar hits it sharply to left, and Gordon has to play it on the hop. The Twins have out-hit the Royals, but the Royals have scored the 2 runs on a Morales bomb to right center field. Now we'll see number 9 hitter Aaron Hicks. Doubled his last time up. It was a similar situation. Man at first, 1 out when he doubled right down the line, and now Roost has gone over a couple of steps closer to third base. Back up the middle, off Vargas. He'll go to first. I hope Jason's all right.
Ooh, man, that looked like that hit him in a really, really tender area. My, oh my. Talk about a comebacker, and that ball just dropped right in front of him, so it hit him squarely. Before he lost his breath, he was able to pick it up and get the out.
Looks like it clipped off his forearm into his belly, Hud. Kyle Turner, a trainer, immediately ran out there along with Dave Island and Ned Yost.
Look at the reaction. Look at the athleticism there. He just scooped it up with his glove and threw it over to first base. Trying to catch his breath now, but that was a shot, man. I'm glad he's standing up.
And there's Dad Joe watching in the stands. His son throws shutout baseball for 4 2/3 innings, but look at Ned.
Yeah, he wouldn't be that hurt. They're making some fun at Ned Vargas, no question about it. So good to see Ned smiling. Good to see Vargas.
We need to see Joe smile. He looks like a coach, doesn't he?
Sure does.
20 years. High school coach in Southern California. Very good one. He was at Victor Valley. Coached at another school in Southern California as well. And watching his son Jason. The Royals have their father's trip where KC went 6-1 on the father's trip last year. They had they swept the Chicago White Sox, then took 3 of 4 in Detroit, where Rex Hudler pitched batting practice to the dads, and Rex has not been invited back this year.
Yeah, that'll tell you how good I was for him. Yeah, they didn't invite me back to throw tomorrow.
It was pretty embarrassing.
Well, Fizz, you know, I don't throw batting practice.
I know.
It's hard to just get right out there.
I could tell. I came to watch.
Throw strikes. It was tough, but I remember it was a hot day. And the same is tomorrow. It's supposed to be 90 degrees here.
Hey guys, sorry, when I finished up the interview with Joe Vargas, he turned to me and he said, "Is Hud throwing batting practice tomorrow?" I said no. He goes, "Good, because he almost hit me in the head last year."
Shock the house, Joel.
There are more balls in back of the cage than there were in the playing field. It was awful.
They have their BP session here at Target Field tomorrow, and while the dads are taking their swings, all of the sons are out in the field shagging the balls, and my goodness, were they giving you grief last year.
Oh man, it was embarrassing.
They're all the dads.
Poor guys. I tried to lay it in there for them.
See, you were trying too hard.
Look, he asked me if I wanted to do it. I said, sure, I will. I'm not gonna say
Don't
no.
think you're hurting the team.
I'm not going to say no. It gives me an opportunity like that.
There's Scott Holland down that front row. He is Greg's dad, studying his scouting report. So here's Brian Dozier, who's been on twice, hit by a pitch, and then he reached on an infield hit. Dozier with 28 RBIs. Not bad out of the leadoff spot, but he has hit first, second, and third this year. He likes it best at the leadoff spot. And Brian Dozier is a guy who in his career, I don't know how many active players you could say this about, but he has hit in all 9 spots in the order.
Versatile hitter, tell you. He's got a combination of everything. Good on base percentage, gets doubles, got some homers, got some power.
Hits that one well to left, but Gordon has it measured near the warning track and pulls it down. So Vargas with 5 shutout innings. Got a scare on a smash by Hicks back to his belly, but comes away unscathed. Lead. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code BRoyal for free entry. And Mike Moustakas on DraftKings tonight. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Chris Sale going tonight. Shut out through 3 against Houston. And A.J. Burnett tonight versus Milwaukee. 1 run in 5. Here is Moose. Mike, the leading vote getter for the All-Star game, just ahead of Josh Donaldson. I shouldn't say just ahead. He's 1.7 million votes ahead of Donaldson.
Wonderful. Keep it up, folks.
Oh, and the guys love the Royals fans. They were talking about that on the plane ride, how supportive the fans were, even though they were going through that downtime, and then they really lifted them up yesterday. They were cheers of Salvi, Salvi, Salvi after he hit the go-ahead home run in the 8th inning.
Sure makes a big difference going back to the wild card game. If we play that game in Oakland, it may not have been that way.
You're right. Crowd never gave up. Salvi had the game-winning hit in that one as well. Swing and a miss on a off-speed pitch away from Mike. This inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Adam Woods from Lewisburg, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in the inning, Adam gets $1,000. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Adam will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals.
Lewis has only struck out one time in 8.7 at bats tonight. That's in the top 10 of hardest to fan. Don't see him striking out that often.
Here is Kane, who is flied out and hit into an inning-ending double play in the third. One ball, one strike. Hughes' pitch efficiency is always good because he is a strike thrower. And that ball well struck down the left field line, but foul. He's walked one and struck out two. Came in with the fastball and got him to foul tip it into the glove of catcher Curtis Suzuki. Royals fans, join us at the Kansas City Power and Light District for an official Royals watch party this Saturday, presented by 610 Sports Radio. As the Royals travel east on I-70 to take on the Cardinals, the party begins at 2 at the KC Live stage with special appearances from Slugger, the K Crew, and 610 sports personalities, along with prizes, food, and drink specials, and much more. Learn more now at Royals.com/watch party, and I understand a lot of good guys will be there. Danny Parkins will be there, Jay Binkley, Henry Lake, I understand, Carrington Harrison. They're from the 610 crew.
They'll be pumped.
Hosmer has singled, scored, and grounded out. Ooh, he had a good rip on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Coming inside, and Hosmer hits it to short. Escobar, high throw. Did he pull him off the back? No, he did not. That is out number 3, and Phil Hughes gets the Royals in order in the 6th. We come to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Royals with a 2-0 lead. Kansas City with a 2-0 lead on Kendrys Morales' 2-run home run. Vargas, shutout baseball. He scattered 5 hits. Has not walked a man. And he will face Torrey Hunter for the 3rd time. He's gotten him twice, striking out, swinging in the first, and had him hit into a 6-4-3 double play, which was huge with the bases loaded in the 3rd.
It's a rare first pitch miss by Vargas. Before that pitch there, he was 15 of 19 first pitch strikes.
And that one didn't miss by much. That one doesn't miss.
He's been good. Man, he's pitching around these Twins, staying down, using his defense.
And then Hunter sends it to center field where Lorenzo Cain is, and Lorenzo will make the catch. And Jason Vargas, on our spring cuts of the game, he is pitching quite well.
He sure is. He's getting that ball right where he wants it, down out of the hitting zone. He's got a nice little pick-off attempt on a steal, got him by a mile. And using that defense, of course, Escobar, that's not a play that most guys can make, but he does. And then he helps himself with a big-time double play ball there with the bases loaded. And he helped himself a couple of times. That was one bad pitch that he made. It stayed in the yard. Watch this one. Oh, my. Look at him help himself. Look at those skills. All from his knees. Another first pitch strike. He is looking good.
And Rex, you work a lot with Little League Baseball and now youth baseball. How important is to have a coach teach a young pitcher to finish in a good fielding position?
Yes, it's very important, Fizz. You know, watch Vargas. He's going to deliver that ball. Most lefties do have a little swing and they fall off to the third base side, but for the most part, you want to be able to be ready for those comebackers. He was that last one. Hit him. He's good. Also important for young people to know, too, when you're playing baseball, it's important to wear a protective cup. And Vargas has been dealing on the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. They're 0 for 8 tonight. There it was here now. See, look, he's in good fielding position there, but that ball got on him in a heartbeat. He didn't have time to do anything, but he made a great adjustment, picked it up, and threw it out.
2 out in the 6th inning, facing Trevor Plouffe. 0 for 2 with the fly out and ground out. There is strike 1. You know, I've really been impressed with Jason's command of his breaking pitch, which is his 3rd best pitch. He's usually fastball changeup, but not only a curve, but he is almost bringing it at times like a slider like look like that one.
And that was beauty. That ball looked good to hit. By the time he swung, he could get a piece of it.
And he dropped his arm angle a little bit.
Beautiful. Be creative.
Plouffe goes to left. There's Alex Gordon. 6 shutout innings by Jason Vargas.
The doctor is making a call here at Target Field, and he's not disappointing any Royals fans.
Vargas with 6 shutout innings, and as we show you the University of Kansas Hospital injury report, another left-hander who's a starter getting healthy. He'll throw a rehab assignment tomorrow in Omaha, expected to throw 50 pitches. They said 3-4 innings. He's been on the 15-day disabled list. Danny has with left biceps tendonitis. And there is Morales leading things off and popping up left side, and there's the shortstop Escobar to make the play, and 1 out.
Good job by Vargas. Great job.
He only threw 70 pitches. But Dave Island told you that he would be throwing about 100 because he is only into his 3rd start after coming back from the disabled list.
Well, you know he wants to go back out there. He's trying to talk those guys into it. I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, when you've got a bullpen like the Royals, why not?
Great job, man. Look at that. That's really a fantastic start by Vargas. Game 1. Trying to get the Royals back into first place. He stepped up.
Phil Hughes continues to work Alex Gordon away and has him down 0-2. Ryan Madsen, he brought his father-in-law on the trip. Had a chance to visit with Darryl Crandall from Moreno Valley. Alex Dad's Mike is with the team. Mike was the coach of 4 Gordon boys.
Phil Hughes, back when he got drafted by the Yankees, and he was a 1st rounder out of Tustin
Foothill High School.
Foothill in Tustin. And I just found out earlier the Yankees picked another young man from Tustin, James Caprillion. Went to Beckman High School, then UCLA. He's pitched, had some good years there at UCLA.
And there is Alex's dad, Mike. Ground ball up the middle, and that will find center field. So Gordon is on for the first time with 1 out.
Right fielder Alex Rios.
Fox Sports Kansas City invites you to join current and former Royals players on the field July 23rd for Diamond of Dreams. Enjoy a menu from local restaurants, live music, and a fireworks show, all for charity. Buy tickets now at Royals.com/Diamond of Dreams. And Rex, you and I have attended that in the past. My goodness, is the food outstanding.
Boy, you get to hang out on the field there. Everything's out there up at the
Players,
K.
coaches
Yep.
will be there.
To walk around the field.
Great time. That's July 23rd. Rios 0 for 2.
He's due for a homer.
Instead, he sends one to deep short, and they just do get Gordon at second base.
Really the only play he had.
The shortstop Escobar is really shining tonight. CDs for the Royals and Eduardo for the Twins. And here is Salvi, who has been on twice with a walk and a double. Rios might be going. Now Hughes is pretty quick home. Salvi pulls it though to third, and that will do it. Royals lead 1. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. KC by 2. Here comes Ryan Madsen. Game presented by Big Slick next Friday before the Royals take on the Boston Red Sox. This year's event is bigger and better than ever before and will take place with a softball game on the big league field prior to the Royals game. Don't miss your chance to see local celebrities Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Rob Riggle, Eric Stonestreet, and their Hollywood friends as you enjoy this star-studded night at the K. For tickets and more information, visit Royals.com/Big Slick. There's Rob.
There's Mr. Vargas. He's on that. He's texting somebody, and he could be saying, "I can't believe they're taking my son out after just 70 pitches, 51 strikes. Got to be proud, Mr. Vargas."
Well, Ned Yost taking Vargas out, putting Ryan Madsen in, and Ned Yost now visiting with home plate umpire Brian Honora. Madsen this year has been outstanding. 1.82 ERA. 24 2/3 innings. He is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Opponents just batting 176. And because this is the father's trip, Ryan brought his father-in-law, Darryl Crandall. And I was talking with Darryl about Ryan, and he said, "You know, I love that kid. He's like one of my sons." And he said when he made the Royals out of spring camp, he goes, and I'm getting chills right now. He said, "I almost broke down and cried. I was so proud of him."
He's been a big addition to the Royals this year with that fastball he's got low to mid-90s and his changeup that's just almost unhittable.
He had not pitched in the big league since 2011 with Philadelphia. Good pitch there. Almost looked like he cut his fastball a little bit.
Opponent's just hitting 176 off of the big guy. Nice downhill angle.
And there's the changeup. And they danned it. And that's really the equalizer to a left-hander from a right-handed pitcher.
Yep, just has a little fade away. Looks like it has some sink to it.
Down and in the 2-2 count. Vargas is not known for his patience. In the air, center field, Lorenzo Cain. 1 out.
This is the time of night where outfielders really got to keep an eye on that ball. Twilight, ball mixes in with the sky, and sometimes you lose it. But watch Escobar, the shortstop. Watch what he does. See, he's pointing. See him pointing? Yeah, just in case the outfielder can't see it, they're trained to pick up the infielder, and they're pointing at it, giving him a little direction of where that ball might be. That's heads-up play.
An 0-2 count to Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki got underneath that off-speed pitch that did not have the fade on it that Ryan wanted. then with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, he blows away Suzuki, who gives him a look like, I didn't know he had that kind of heat.
That's right. That was blew right by him. Wow. Good hard fastball. When you have 2 pitches, that's really all you need coming out of that pen. A fastball like that, and he's mixing speeds with it too. He's cutting it, looks like, a little bit too, along with the changeup. Wow. He'll mix in a couple of sliders.
Daryl Crandall told me that Ryan's family was only a couple of blocks away, and that he knew his daughter from the 6th grade on. They were friends from the 6th grade on, and of course started dating as juniors in high school. Now married and have 5 kids, beautiful children. Probably watching at home in Moreno Valley and also Temecula, where Ryan and Sarah and their children live. 2-0 count to Rosario. He gets a strike, 2-1. Ned Yost has a few weapons coming out of the bullpen that he didn't expect.
Only made him better, a little deeper.
Left center field. Off the top of the wall. And Eddie Rosario hit it out. Looked like it went off the top of the wall, but kicked off the gate at the top of the wall and then bounced back onto the field.
Now there's a fastball there that didn't quite make it to where Madsen wanted it. It wasn't up out of the hitting zone enough, and it was right down the middle. Good easy level swing inside out. It looked like it hit right off the top of the rail, or one of the fans' hands hit his hand.
Wakamatsu's still on the phone, wondering if it could have been fan interference, but they'll have to play on now. But I think he still wants to talk with Billy Duplessis to find out what took place. So it's a 2-1 ball game. Home runs the story of the night, with Kendrys Morales' 2-run home run in the second, and now a opposite field shot by Eddie Rosario. We quickly go to work on our text to say we caught a home run ball. Back up the middle, glances off Madsen. Escobar has no chance to get Eduardo Escobar. Base hit. Where that pitcher spot is really a tough one. We've had some smashes off first Vargas and now one off Madsen.
Well, if you're a hitter, that's what you want to do. If you can, try to put that ball back up the middle, and if that doesn't hit Madsen at all, that's a clean single. Biggest hole in the diamond out there.
Aaron Hicks 1 for 2, a double in the third. Opposite field base hit. Well, Ryan was able to get the first 2 outs rather quickly, then left one out over the plate. Rosario took it out and smashed off of Madsen, and now an opposite field hit by Aaron Hicks on a pitch left up.
A little bit elevated. It's a little bit easier to get your bat on it.
Dave Island out for a visit.
Top of their order now. Interesting, another runner in scoring position. I mentioned earlier that the Twins have hit 294 with runners in scoring position. That's where the Royals are coming into this game. Both teams 294, so they're getting clutch hits, and that's a high mark in the league.
Kelvin Herrera has worked a lot lately, and Herrera had a rough 7th inning himself yesterday as Texas came back to tie their game. Now Brian Dozier. This is a dangerous batter. Lefty Franklin Morales is warming in the Kansas City pen. You would imagine that would be for Joe Mauer. Mauer in the on-deck circle.
Very rare you see a home run given up by the Royals bullpen. That's 12th home run. That's still lowest and fewest in the league for relievers.
In there. The Royals bullpen has been used the most. Barely misses outside.
This is their leadoff hitter Dozier, but he's been their most productive as far as the home runs goes. He's got 11. Be careful middle in on this guy.
Most by any second baseman in baseball. Swing and a miss and a 2-2 count. That time the changeup faded perfectly. You go back there, Hud.
Yeah, I'm going to stay down there. See if he'll get another one of those swinging misses. He wants to use that pitch he struck out Kurt Suzuki on. That would work too. It's got to be up though.
Got him.
Yeah, stayed with the changeup. Wow. Way to go.
Great late action on that pitch.
And the Manson Mauler, he mauled his way out of that.
Minnesota creeps within one though. We head to the 8th. Beauty. But Rosario going the opposite field, his 3rd home run of the year, and they were bringing the lumber by Yellowwood.
Yeah, that was swung on, gone. He knew it immediately. That's a nice feel for a hitter. Get up underneath that baseball, and you got his kind of power. His 7th. This one here, wow. That ball, I'm surprised it left the ballpark, but a nice warm evening like tonight.
How about some insurance? Infante has been snake bit. He has hit the ball on the screws twice, smashing one to second base where Dozier knocked it down and flipped to second base to get the force. Then he lined out to third his last time up. Presley, the right-hander, Thompson, the lefty, in the Minnesota pen. The Twins bullpen not nearly as strong as the Royals. Their ERA a full 2 runs higher than Kansas City's pen. That's knocked to right field. Hunter going back and pulls it down for out number 1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg with you. Joel waiting to find out who the Royals select 33rd. They went with Ash Russell in the first round, 21st overall, a right-handed pitcher. Went to high school in Indiana. Apparently the Royals are 3 picks away from that 33rd selection, which was the sandwich pick when San Diego signed the Type A free agent James Shields. A lot of work by the guys. 17 area scouts for Kansas City, 6 cross checkers, other evaluators. Ball popped up right side. Dozier drifting out. Well, Phil Hughes really doing a nice job. The Royals did a great job last year selecting a guy in the first round who went very quickly to the big leagues, and my goodness was he excellent out of the bullpen in September and in the playoffs.
Sure was. The only guy in the history of the game to ever do that. Pitching the College World Series and the Big League World Series. Some kind of year.
There was a good story in today's USA Today about the friendship of Brandon Finnegan and Carlos Rodon, who is the Chicago White Sox starting pitcher, who's called up this year. Here's Moose outside, and Jim Schlossnagle, who is the coach for the world team, all-star team, who put them together as roommates. Jim was Brandon's college coach at TCU. Jammed him, popped it up, and no one will get there.
All right, Moose will get another chance. But you know, Lonnie Goldberg, he's the director of scouting for the Royals, and he's done a great job. He's in his 5th season with the Royals. Wishing him the best today and tomorrow. I guess it goes for what, 2-3 days?
And last year the Royals took 30 college players, 12 high school players. They took Moose out of high school in Southern California several years back. So you wonder if they'll go after a college player in that 33rd selection coming up. Emergency hack by Moose just to stay alive.
Jin Wong, assistant general manager in baseball administration. Scott Sharp, general manager of baseball operations. And Lonnie and Gene Watson. Mike Grutman. These guys all really working hard to try to continue the championship Royals baseball. Good job, guys.
Wade Davis, meantime, preparing for the 8th.
Mark Stewart. There it is.
Right center field, and it will drop. Moose around first base, puts the brakes on. Hicks does have a good arm. So another multi-hit game for Moustakas, his 20th this year. He only had 17 last season.
Moose got on top of that baby. Good top hand, lobbed it right where they weren't.
So maybe Kane can find one of those gaps and get Moose around. Lorenzo with 4 home runs this year. A little bit low, ball 1. Out of play. The most pitches that Phil Hughes has thrown this year is 101, and that was in 6 innings back on May 4th against Oakland. He threw only 96 pitches in 8 innings at Seattle back on April 24th. And here comes number 100.
Hughes, this might be his best outing of the year so far. He's got to be pretty happy with where he's been able to spot the ball. Hadn't made too many mistakes. Pretty pitch efficient. Had a tough second inning with 22, but his fastball, cutter, occasional curveball's been working.
Kane looking for the mistake, something he can drive. And I think he got one there, and Lorenzo a little mad at himself for not squaring it up better.
He's been staying away. Lorenzo Kane gets a piece of that. He's going to find a hole out there in right field. And he keeps staying away. It's a perfect swing for that outside pitch he's doing. He's waiting long, just not quite able to barrel it like he wants. Playing him straight up.
Three-two count. I think he knows this could be his last batter, because if he loses Kane, Thompson is ready for Hosmer. Quite a battle tonight between first place Minnesota and second place Kansas City. The Twins leading the Royals by 1 game in the American League Central. They've been a major surprise. The Royals have not. The American League champions.
Lorenzo, he's fouled off balls to the right side and a couple to the left. Now anywhere, split the difference.
Ooh, he does, with a base hit to left. Rosario is able to run it down. Moustakas makes it to third, but that's a quality at bat by Lorenzo Kane, and I've got to expect Molitor to come out and bring on Thompson. And he's at the top step. Hosmer's name has been announced.
Ball's on the inner half. He puts Lorenzo away, and in, and Lorenzo pulled his hands in nicely. Great.
And here comes Molly.
That's the thing that Molitor's been happy with so far this year with the Twins. The pitching's been good. He had to go to the bullpen that early. Not tonight.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen. Thompson, the lefty, to base. Hosmer, the lefty. Sports and outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at your MidwestFordDealers.com. Steve Physiak, Rex Sudler, Joe Goldberg with you in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Royals, if they win, will move back into a tie for first place. Aaron Thompson, the lefty, comes out of the bullpen. 3.96 ERA, but left-handers only batting 143 against this guy.
Yep. He's got a 89 to 93 with that fastball. He tries to two-seam it, four-seam it, sinks it. He's kind of a ground ball guy. Curveball and a changeup.
6'3", 195. He was the Marlins' first-round pick out of high school in 2005 in Houston. And Hosmer with a base hit. Moustakas will score. Kane races for third, and the Royals have a 2-run lead.
Some more 2-out lightning. Gotta like it. Royals are tough to finish off. They love those 2-out RBIs.
That is big insurance.
Sure is. It's an inside fastball. He tried to get down there, and Haas just met it perfectly. Slapped it right by Mauer over there at first base.
That means Wade Davis will come on for the bottom of the 8th and face Hunter, Mauer, and Plouffe. And that means they may not have to face the middle of the order again. KC, the last 5 games, 1 for 23 with runners in scoring position before that hit by Hosmer.
That drops over.
Good stuff by Dave Holtzman, who's sitting right next to us.
Yeah, he helps us out with some of those nuggets, some of those stats that pertain to the situation. It's really good. Now, Suzuki, he saved a run there by himself.
He was an all-star last year, caught the 9th inning when he and Glenn Perkins made it to the All-Star game, and he caught Perkins in the 9th. Again, a great stop by Suzuki, and Thompson very wild.
The one before that pitch there bounced way in front of home plate. Look at how he squared it up with his chest protector. Excellent block. Ball just bounced right in front of home plate. Perfect.
He's fallen behind Morales, who hit a home run from the left side, now from the right. Ooh, he had a good rip. Hendry's shaking his head.
Yeah, that was right down Broadway.
In there. So he's fought back in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On a 2-1 count, he throws that little slider. I was looking at what the Minnesota bullpen had done lately, and they've been knocked around a little bit. This is the 3rd straight game that Thompson has been a little bit inconsistent. Gave up runs in 2 games against Milwaukee. Gave up a key hit by Hosmer in the spring. And Morales chases a bad ball in the dirt, strikes out, but Hosmer comes through with a big hit to score Mike Moustakas in a 3-1 Kansas City lead.
Says he's got to break that drop. Runners in scoring position.
That's McCullers and Sale. And Miami losing to Toronto 11-3. Donaldson 2-5 with his 16th home run. Milwaukee, Pittsburgh delayed in the 7th. Bottom of 5. Colorado blasting St. Louis, and the Royals will face the Cards this Friday. Wade Davis comes on. He has a little insurance to work with. Not a bad ERA, Hud. 0.38. Does that work for you?
I think so. That's going to get it done for any team in the world. Hard fastball, 97 tops, cutter at 93 miles an hour. He's got a really nice overhand curve.
Starts him out with the breaking ball that misses high. Ball 1. And he's a little wild to open this duel with Torrey Hunter. 2 balls, no strikes. Davis worked around Prince Fielder's 2-out double for a scoreless 8th yesterday in the Royals' 4-3 victory over Texas. Right down the middle. His dad Ben is here today. There is Ben, great guy. He and Wade had a chance to go hunting last winter, hunting for white-tailed deer up in Canada. A little low, 3-1. Right now, Ben, I would imagine, a little nervous as he watches his son pitch against Minnesota with a 3-1 lead.
He's probably saying to himself, I want to put anybody on with a walk to make him earn it. Strike coming here, he hopes.
Hunter ready for it and fouls it back. Full count, 3-2. Davis has walked 8 this year in 24 innings. He's only allowed 12 hits. Just low, ball 4. Leadoff walk.
Did look like it missed that much.
He hasn't been giving that pitch all night long now.
Manoa has been consistent.
So now Joe Mauer. Royals would love to see that right here. Ground out in the 6th. How about a ground out in the 8th? And turn it into a double play. Strike 1. Mauer with only 2 home runs, hit one against Milwaukee this past weekend. To second base, a 4, a 6, and a 3. Twin killer.
Yeah, you better believe it. That's what Mr. Davis ordered from the stands. Wade jammed him. That's the 11th ground ball double play Mauer's hit it to all year. Right time, right place there. 2 quick ones. Yeah. Got inside, jammed him. Doesn't give up on. I mean, he doesn't induce many ground balls, but Wader will take a double.
There is a fastball at 97 to Trevor Plouffe. Royals defense so impressive all year long. And they continue to come inside on Trevor. The scouting report says he likes the ball middle away. So Davis with an overpowering fastball in the mid to upper 90s, rushing him inside. Salvi suggested breaking ball. Wade said, I want the heater, and he throws a strike.
Perfectly located on the corner. Stay away from him.
Got him.
Oh, man, that was nice. Yes, sir, Mr. Ben Davis. We agree with you. Waiter, check, please. How about a side of cheese, Mr. Davis?
Pitcher Nolan Watson from Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis. So the first player they took, pitcher Ash Russell, was from Cathedral High School in Indianapolis. And now here's Nolan Watson, 6'2", 200 pounds, 18 years old. He's committed to Vanderbilt. I've got a hard time believing the Royals would take him if they thought that they were going to lose him. 92 to 95 mile-an-hour fastball. Not exactly known, guys, as a hotbed, Indiana, but now the Royals have two guys that I think have played on all-star teams together that'll come up through the system together. And by the way, biggest name pitchers to come out of the state of Indiana. Tommy John was born in Indiana. And how about the late, great, our good friend Paul Splittorff was born in the state of Indiana.
The Royals' first two picks, a sequel to the movie Hoosiers. We got two of them. That's a basketball hotbed. Or was it Sean Manaea from Indiana State a couple of years ago? There was a supplemental pick. That was the year Hunter Dozier was the first round pick by the Royals, and Manaea taken in the sandwich pick in the supplemental round. And Alex Gordon did not like that call at all. He thought the curveball was a bit high. 2-2 count here in the ninth. It is Gordon, Rios, and Perez facing Thompson. This might be his last batter. A little bit low. Gordon singled his last time up, 1 for 3. And he works the walk. So Molly might bring on a right-hander to face Rios and Perez.
21st walk for Alex Gordon this season. That's second on the Royals. Hosmer has 24.
So we have a pitching change here in Minneapolis. Right-hander coming on to face Alex Rios. Royals with a 3-1 lead, and Thursday, June 18th, fans, an American tradition comes to Fox and Fox Sports 1 for the first time as the greatest golfers in the world converge on the Pacific Northwest for a chance to stamp their names in the history books. Our exclusive coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins June 18th on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. With Alex Gordon at first base, Alex Rios the batter, and Ryan Presley the new pitcher, and he delivers strike one.
Presley, 2.95 ERA, 9 walks. Opponent's only hit 200. He's got a good fastball, low to mid 90s. He's got a power curveball, an occasional changeup.
And he jumps ahead of Rios, 0-2. Alex robbed of a hit. Fine backhanded play by Dozier in the second. He also grounded out in the 5th and 7th. He did reach on the 7th, and that was on a fielder's choice. And got a little locked up on that one.
Well, that's a good power curve if I've seen one. I mean, following that fastball, that's a beauty. Put through that exactly where he wanted it. I think it fooled him.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, that's a good bite to it.
Now Salvador Perez, who has been on twice, swung at the first pitch he saw in his last at bat and grounded out. Takes low ball one. The Royals scored 2 in the second on a 2-run home run by Morales, and 1 in the 8th on a single with 2 out by Eric Hosmer that played in Moustakas. That ball is ripped to third. Gordon dives back safely to first. Well, we're seeing better swings from the offense, Rex.
Yes, no question about it. It seems to me like they're starting to kind of figure out laying off of those low ones and those balls in the dirt. They're doing a good job. Salving barrel, that's nothing you can do. We've seen Infante line out 3 times, so guys are hitting the ball hard. There's not a lot to be showed for it. It's 8 hits total for both teams, but they seem to be making better contact. Infante, he's due.
And he was thinking about bunting, and bunted foul. Luke Hochevar and Greg Holland both warming in the Kansas City pen. With a 3-1 lead, the Royals would go with Greg, but if they score a couple here, Hoch may come on for the bottom of the 9th. Holland wrapped up the save yesterday. And a reminder, our Boulevard Royals live show will be coming up with Joel after the ball game. Stay with us for that. Gordon led off with a walk. Rio struck out. Perez lined out. Alex yet to steal a base this year. 0 for 2.
He wanted one there. He almost left a little bit early.
And that one will get Gordon to second base. So he doesn't need to steal.
Presley going with that curve almost every pitch. Suzuki, he's done a great job of blocking balls, but you can't expect him to block that one 5 feet in front of the dish. That's where that landed.
A 2-1 count. Royals with only 3 wins in their last 12 games, averaging 2.2 runs per game. Trying to string together back-to-back wins. Yesterday against Texas, tonight leading Minnesota. Inside corner.
Fonte'd like to have this one back. Borderline. Honora been calling that a ball all night.
So he goes back to that hook. Where he really gets on top of this curveball.
It's a good pitch. That's why he's throwing it every time. Tough to square those up.
Ryan was a Rule 5 pick from Boston back in 2012. Only pitched in 25 games for the Twins last year.
Omar's been a .279 hitter with a runner in scoring position. They could use that run.
Popped him up. Suzuki off with the mask. Near the on-deck circle makes the catch. So the Royals threaten but do not score in the ninth. And we will see Greg Holland coming out of that Kansas City bullpen. As Scott watches his son try and wrap up this save, and we told you about Miller Lite. Well, it is Miller time. Jason Vargas got the work done.
Boy, that tell you them double plays really work. I mean, both these double plays, clutch situations, bases were loaded, and Vargas was pumped. And then Wade Davis comes in, used to striking guys out, but man, he'll take it anytime Mauer wants to do it. Beautiful work there by the waiter. Get her done.
So here is Greg Holland, who nailed down his 9th save yesterday in the Royals' 4-3 victory with a 1-2-3 9th inning. He will face Kenny Vargas, Kurt Suzuki, and Eddie Rosario here in the bottom of the 9th. Vargas, big time power. A strike evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Holland, he'll go low 90s, slider, occasional split finger, and he's got a 1 ball that he calls a slow boy. He throws it really slow. But we've seen a couple in his last outing. He's talked to him about that, and he said that he every once in a while will flip one up there 70, 75, 76 miles an hour.
Is he throwing the splitty anymore?
Yes, he did. He threw one in his last outing.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
One that kind of dove down and away.
Talked about that slow one though. He said, you know, it's like a big breaking ball, just to throw the hitter's timing off a little.
Look at that. Boy, that is a great pitch by Greg Holland to strike out Kenny Vargas. And Scott likes it.
Yeah, just in the nick of time. That pitch is coming back. Man. You got to love that. Great start by Vargas. Mr. Holland's entertained by his son so far.
Here is Kurt Suzuki. Let's take a look at that last pitch, because I thought Greg Holland had a changeup grip.
It's in the back of his hand right there, and that's exactly what that is. It's beautiful. 86. Nice variation of speeds between that 94 and 86. Then he's got that slider that drops straight down.
Perhaps he's got away from the split and going with the changeup more to add to his fastball, which has been low to mid-90s this year, and he has one of the best sliders in the game of any closer. Goes with the fastball at 92 and gets a strike across against Suzuki. Just past Holland, but right to Infante. 2 outs.
Most pitches that he uses that work down in the zone are so effective, not only for swing and misses, but just for plays like that. The defense that the Royals have, that's his ticket. Now his velocity's down a tick than what it was last year. He's not throwing as consistently in the 95s. He's more in the low 90s now, but it's working.
Well, the Twins are used to seeing this from Greg Holland. He has absolutely dominated Minnesota in his major league tenure. Just 3 earned runs allowed. 13 saves, looking for number 14. Strike 1. How much has he dominated? How about 25 games, only 3 earned runs allowed, a 1.08 ERA. 1 more out. Kendrys Morales started with a 2-run home run in the second. Hosmer then gave him a 3-1 lead in the 8th. Another changeup and fouled back. You and I remember when we saw Frankie Rodriguez, who threw a fastball slider, develop a changeup, and all of a sudden the hitters were saying, oh no, he's got another weapon.
Yeah, you know, sometimes just 2 is enough, but if you have that third one, that really puts something in the hitter's mind.
He throws it again.
Especially the hitters that haven't seen him. Eddie Rosario, this is his first time facing Hall.
Got him to pop it up. This should do it. Moustakas under it. And the Royals are back in first place with the Minnesota Twins. Morales, big fly, back in inning number 2. Got him started and started right. And Greg Holland picks up his 10th save of the year.
Outstanding job, fellas. Way to give Vargas a couple of early runs by Morales' big-time shots. 7 home run and 41st RBIs. Nice job. Salvi, way to quarterback all them pitchers. Did a great job tonight. And now they're dead even.
And the pitching staff really held back the 2, 3, 4 hitters as they were all